Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to another jam-packed edition, hard-hitting edition of Eat Sleep Sixers. I am the one that they call Sabrina Tane. We have the homie, one of our newest members to the team, BG.
What's poppin'?
What's popping, y'all? What's popping? And shout out to anybody that's gonna watch this replay later on, because I know everybody might not be able to watch this joint at the moment. But shout out to the people that's gonna watch this later on, man. So I appreciate the views later on. So no matter if you watch it in live, no matter if you watch it later on, it's still a view. So appreciate everybody that views it.
And please understand, you could watch it. You could either, like you said, you could watch it live. You could watch the replay of it on Facebook, and also go to YouTube, Eat Sleep Six's YouTube page, and give us a follow on there. Give us a follow, couple thumbs up, couple views, cut your notifications on so you'll know every time we go live.
No, most definitely, because the most important thing I want to preach is not necessarily liking the Eat Sleep Sixes page on Facebook. Now that's not important, but the most important thing.
Wait, it is important, but the most important.
It's not the most not the most important thing. Excuse me. It's not the most important thing. Thanks for the correction, BG. It's not the most important thing, but the most important thing is to go onto the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe till you can't subscribe no more. Keep subscribing. If you got a friend that he might not even like the Sixers, tell him to subscribe and come on through and see what you think about the Sixers from an outside perspective. But subscribe, everybody.
Eat Sleep Sixes. Sleep Sixes. Just search it, and you'll be able to find it. Give us a subscribe.
All you gotta do is click that one button, simple, boom, get on out the door, man. That's all you gotta do, y'all. So that's the most important thing to help build this up. Y'all give it. We got over 272 likes on the Eat Sleep Sixers page. Convert them into subscriptions. That's 272 people that can be subscribing. Over top of the 42 we have now, we have over 300 subscriptions to Eat Sleep Sixers on the YouTube page. So, that's what y'all got to do. But we ain't here today to plug the page. That's part of it. But our main objective here today is the draft is tomorrow. And we've been giving you content all week long, except for one day, with the exception of one day. We've been giving you content, trying to help y'all ease your minds into this all-season transition, because we're no longer in a basketball mind frame. We're in the all-season transition now. So we're trying to let y'all wrap your minds around it. So the day before the draft, a lot of speculation, a lot of reports, a lot of everything comes out and stuff like that. Now we hearing that Ben is open to a trade and stuff like that. Now we hearing that that's the icing on the cake now. So I'm gonna start off by saying first, what are you expecting out this draft? You expecting any major noise coming out this draft, BJ?
Just like I told you the other day on the show, this draft is very top heavy. I follow college basketball heavy, and this draft is definitely very top heavy. After about the sixth pick, everybody's up in the air as far as what I think they could be in the NBA. Me personally, the top four picks is solidified, not without question. I could tell you who exactly is going to get picked in them four picks. If that doesn't happen, I would be very surprised. But I could see a lot of trades. Everybody knows that draft day is probably the busiest day of the NBA not having games. Things go on. People and a lot of things happen within draft day that affects not only 2021, not only 2022, but I'm talking about years down the line. It's teams that's reaping the benefits of trades that was made on draft day in 2015 right now. So I definitely expect some big things to happen. Obviously, the elephant in the room, now that Timmy in the room, I got to holler at him. The elephant in the room is obviously, will Ben move tomorrow? I don't say yes, honestly. I honestly don't think he gets traded tomorrow. And also, somebody put on the page earlier, put on Sixers 24/7 earlier, that they wouldn't be surprised if we moved Tobias and not Ben. And I wouldn't be mad at that. I honestly wouldn't be mad at that. I really like Tobias, but the goal of mine is for the Sixers to go into next season with a solidified second option. Ben, it's not a lot of people think all the Sixers fans want is Ben to be gone. No, me personally, I just want a solidified second option, somebody who can get their own bucket. And although Tobias showed flashes of that, he's proven that he can't do it all the time.
I wouldn't be too mad at moving Tobias. I wouldn't be too mad at all. But if we're gonna move Tobias, I hope we get somebody like really that's solidified, like a solidified number two that could come in there and get something done because we need Ben to be that secondary facilitator, point forward slasher. So if we're gonna get somebody, I hope we get somebody that's worth it. And Timmy just mentioned Tobias and the 28 for Ingram. Like, does that move the needle though? Does
I think it moves the needle. I won't say it makes us a championship favorite, but I think that Brandon Ingram's today and future may be his ceiling may be higher than Tobias's. Tobias is a good player. Brandon Ingram can get his own shot anytime. At any time, Brandon Ingram can get his own shot. So I think it moves the needle slightly. Does it say, oh, we champions? I don't think so. I think we still have things to work on. Me and you talk about this all the time. We got to solidify our bench. That's key. But swapping out Ingram for Tobias, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. But then we run into the problem, Timmy. Last year we played this whole season without a power forward. We lose Tobias, we definitely don't got a power forward. That's the only thing that's crazy about it. We went the whole season without playing a power forward.
shot? Yo, I can't pronounce this. I can't pronounce this shit. And he a YouTube subscriber. Appreciate you, good brother.
Cyber
Dell.
Yeti. Oh.
Shout out there. I'm gonna call you Cyber D, boss.
Cyber pause. Chill. It's too. Come on. We just started. We only 10 minutes in, man. Don't start now.
Yo, man, Cyber Dell, man. I would say Cyber Dell. Cyber Dell, shout out to you, good brother. I appreciate the comment. New subscriber. Thank you, sir. Means a lot that you commented with us. Harris is a good number three. A good number is and not a number two. Yeah, we can agree to that. Which
we definitely agree with that.
Yeah, which to make it a little easier for them to move him if they got to more than Ben, because somebody would take that number three if they competing for a championship. So I agree with that, Cyberdell.
Yes, somebody would take that number three, but that's the thing. If they take our number three because they're competing for a championship, then they're giving us back scraps. We can't afford to take back scraps.
Yeah, well, we can't afford to take back scraps and stuff like that. But like, can I be honest?
Holla at me. Come on, man. This easily sixes. You better be honest.
I think Tobias' value is a little bit higher than Ben's because, like, if you put Tobias around an offense that's already established and he doesn't need all that pressure on him, Tobias is going to flourish.
I got a rebuttal. I think Tobias's value to us is bigger than Ben's. But I honestly listened to your interview last night with Kai. I listened to it, and I kind of agree with him. Although we are fed up with Ben, there are a million GMs. Well, not a million, obviously, but there's a nice amount of GMs that will take a 25-year-old that gives you what Ben's gives you because they think, you know what? We feel like in the next 5 years, he'll be better than what he is now. We're just tired of waiting. But that doesn't mean that another GM not looking. Yo, this dude 25 years old, and he's almost a walking triple-double. Yes, he's a liability on the free throw line. Yes, he refuses to shoot. But if those are the things that they willing to work on, what? Any GM would want that. I was really listening. You know, the people that do this for a living, I listen to them. And Kyle made a big point. He said, we think his value is low, but Ben value might be higher than we feel it is.
Yeah. So Tim Gibson, you shout out to you, good brother, for a new commenter and stuff like that. Shout out to you, sir. So you think you better off just keeping Tobias? You better off just keeping Tobias. You said the Ben Simmons experiment is over for us, so we got to just move Ben and bring a shot creator to complement Tobias and stuff like that. So that's a question for you. Whenever you answer, you said the Ben Simmons experience is over, which I agree. But you think is no moving Tobias to supplement that though, to offset that? But you got to move Ben. That's what I'm asking.
And that's the thing. I agree and disagree because, like I said, I think our best bet would be to move Ben. But if we move Tobias and kept Ben, I don't think we're worse off. Although Tobias obviously gives you more points than Ben. I hate to side with Timmy Snyder, but the stuff Ben do is valuable to us. It's just he doesn't give us what we want. But if we get a guy who can do more than what Tobias does, then we kind of can forget the fact that Ben is a third option, maybe a fourth option, to be honest with you. Because I'm fine with Seth being our third option and Ben just being out there to play defense and maybe get close to a triple double.
Move to Timmy said move to Bias and move to Bias and trying to trade for Larry. Uh, it could work, yeah, but who you gonna go after? Who?
That was my question. That's what I was going to say. Hey, Timmy, I know you still on here. If you got the GM for the day, what piece do you think we can get for Tobias?
Yeah, like and what powerful forward you going you said to get Ingram, so Lowry, Seth. Nah, that see that lineup don't do it for me. Cause you got to think about the championship window we on. After seeing Milwaukee win the championship, we in win now mode, and this don't really scream out win now to me. Like you moving Ben to the floor, but still you still need Ben to be some type of aggressive. You need Ben to. I don't like that lineup. I'm not a fan of that lineup. Where's the offense really coming from besides Ingram and maybe Seth and Embiid? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know, man.
You know. Timmy dream scenario is to keep Ben here by any means.
It is the same scenario. He's trying to figure out ways. Timmy trying to figure out ways to fit the algorithm. If you trade Tobias for Kyle Lowry and matter of fact do a signing trade by adding the 28 pick, you got adding the 28 pick and stuff like that, then it can work and we can keep Ben. But the best logical route is to just trade Ben Simmons. Yeah, to just trade.
I'm telling you, he gonna have a line. He gonna have a line for everything we come up. It go GB. Honestly, after all the reports today, so it's been speculation all off season. We've been talking about it. A lot of people have been talking about that we need to get rid of Ben, but it never was no real hard hitting stuff. I feel like today, when it came out saying Clutch Sports and Ben have been talking and they open to a trade, I think now the talks is going to get heavy. This next 24 hours is going to be big. And like I said, I don't foresee him getting traded tomorrow. I mean, if I was a betting man, I would say it's only about 25% chance he gets traded tomorrow. But after seeing all that today, I think the writing's on the wall, man. He might be out of here.
If I was a betting man, like for real, I would say honestly like a 43.5% chance that he gets traded tomorrow, because like you got to think the draft time is a perfect time to expand on any capital that you want.
A little extra stuff you got. Any little extra stuff. Yep.
Any other extra stuff you got, because even when you get to the second round picks, become like it's like on the stock market. It's like when you trade in commodities and certain commodities get hot soon as trading starts. Yeah, certain commodities get hot at the right time. So right now, a second round pick might not be so hot right now, but when the draft starts, the second round pick, boom, you might be hitting people. People might be hitting your lineup and be like, "All right, give me Ben. Give me the first. What is it? We got the 28 pick. Yeah, we got the 28 pick. Give us back and give us back 2 seconds, and we'll give somebody like DeRozan or somebody like boom boom I'm just using an example. I'm not saying DeRozan. We know DeRozan's a free agent, but I'm using an example. I think you got a little more flexibility at the draft. You got a little more flexibility to make a deal at the draft as opposed to all season where everybody's rights are off the table. Cap holds and qualifying offers and all that other stuff.
That's the day where you got all that little extra stuff you could throw in the trades. That's the day when you see it. Dudes get traded for $20 in a cheesesteak. Mess around, get traded for $20 a cheesesteak and a pack of Starbursts.
would you take Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby in the 4th round pick? The BG was kind of selling me on the kid. Like I would take that because you kind of
I,
was
I'm taking it.
you,
I'm taking it.
you because like I was getting sold on the kid on the kid Suggs. I think it's Suggs. Yeah, I was getting sold on the kid Suggs, but at the same time I would take it. But it was like, but the danger within taking that is like I don't know. OG and Fred VanVleet, they're kind of young. They're young.
They are. They are.
They're really young. And you bringing Suggs to the team, and Suggs is a kid. And like we mentioned before, and like Kai said in the interview yesterday, and I agree with him that you you are hanging on Embiid's prime like this. You at a tug of war every day with Embiid's prime like this, and eventually you're gonna have to let go because the more injuries that Embiid gets, the more that line gets dimmed down
That's a
from his
fact.
run. The
That's a
more that
fact.
line gets dimmed down. What that deal does, it makes you better long term.
It definitely does.
It
Like,
makes you,
and
yeah.
and not just Suggs. Like, I know that I put the bug in your ear about that number 4 pick being Suggs and how tough Suggs is, and you agree. But man,
Yeah,
Fred VanVleet, he get a bucket. He go
yeah.
get a bucket.
He's a walking bucket and could
Hmm.
play a little defense. And OG got a little slashing defender type dude that can do his thing. But the danger with that is that after seeing after seeing Milwaukee win the championship, and we didn't came about 20-point leads, excuse me. It's like the 3 set 20-point leads for winning the whole thing. Because if we would have got past Atlanta and knowing what happened to Brooklyn, we would have won the whole thing. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest at the way it happened to them. But with saying that, and with them saying that, I like the deal, but at the same time, I don't like the deal because it doesn't make you it doesn't
It
increase
build,
that one.
it builds us. It builds us for the future. It doesn't address what we have an issue with, and what we have an issue with is wasting Embiid's prime right now. It doesn't give us a championship in the next 2 years.
Because you get Embiid's 27 years old. Me and Embiid was born the same year. You get to that year when Embiid's 29 years old, and all them injuries he had that took place. Then you right back to rebuild mode. You really right back to rebuild mode by the time 29 come and B got all them injuries and we don't got no championships to show for it. Like I'm being 100% honest with you. You don't want to waste that prime. The danger in a crime against humanity, I said straight up, is to waste Embiid's prime playing the toe in the line game, waiting to see what's going to happen. Plus, another big year. This ain't the only big year in full effect. 2022. You got Bill. You got Kawhi. You got Kawhi. Technically, Kawhi's a free agent this year, but technically not because if he accepts the player option, he goes back to the Clippers for one more year. But 2022, Kawhi is considered a free agent with no options.
Unrestricted.
Unrestricted free agent and stuff like that. You got Kawhi, you got Steph, you got all them dudes that's available on the table come 2022. And you got to think if you take that deal now, I'm not saying that you can get those guys. I'm not saying, but you never know. That's why Tobias makes a little sense contract wise to move because if you play the long game you could go into 2022 with the expectation of trying to get one of those guys and stuff like that. Because man, it's easy to say that the Steph Currys in the world going to remain loyal. All them other dudes going to remain to their team. Nah, you can't say that because after a while, winning trumps any other precedent. After a while, you get tired of losing. You get tired of going through the dirt. You get tired of it. Just like people, if Damian Lillard leaves and go to another team, you can't get mad at Damian Lillard if he leaves and go to another team. You can't get mad at Brad Bill. You can't get mad at none of them cats. Like none of them cats can't. Everybody wants you to be a Charles Barkley. No disrespect to Charles Barkley and stuff like that. But we in a new time now. We got to win a championship.
That's what I was trying to explain to Kai yesterday when I said, yeah, you could say these guys is loyal to the city, they loyal to these teams all day, but like I said, one of my favorite guys ever, KG, he was loyal to Minnesota. It just gets old when it's the same result over and over, and they're not adding anything to your team to help you win. At some point, you get fed up. It's about winning. It's about winning at the end of the day. And you're not telling me that Bradley Beal and Dame Lillard are 100% happy. Oh, I'm loyal to these teams. Man, loyalty go out the window, because you know what? These organizations is not loyal to them.
Yeah, like these organizations is not loyal whatsoever. And boy, I disagree with you because it says we're not winning the chip because Brooklyn is still here. Milwaukee is still better. We should have traded Ben 2 years ago. When he had volume, only Dame or Bill gets us competitive for a chip. If we get that solid second score, see, Brooklyn doesn't excite me. Like healthy wise, even healthy when Harden and them was on the floor, I didn't see nothing that screams that they're going to dominate the competition. I'm not going to see Milwaukee. They had Milwaukee by the throat and couldn't knock Milwaukee off. Yeah, Kyrie got injured. Harden wasn't 100%, but still, that don't excite me because them dudes together, Harden and them, they're offensively. Offensively, they put a lot of fear in your heart. But defensively, you see what Milwaukee did with them. Milwaukee is the team that should worry you more because that core, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis coming back, that should worry you more than anything because that core is that fundamentally sound. That core is that core is awesome. This might be for you, bro.
Yeah, that's my little sister.
That's your little sister. Okay, how you doing? How you doing, sister? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in.
Ain't no thank you for tuning in. Tell her to subscribe to the YouTube.
She family, so that's second nature. She already gonna subscribe to the YouTube. But the Bucks been a good defensive team all season. Like the Bucks with that core of Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, and all them other cats, they've been good all year when it comes down to the defensive end.
I'm not gonna make this a Brooklyn Nets podcast, but I slightly agree with Greg. Slightly, like I said, slightly, because as much as you praising them for their defense, Brooklyn almost beat them with just Kevin Durant. Like imagine if Kyrie and James Harden was playing. So they almost beat them with just Kevin Durant. And like he said, the playoffs is different. They played they played defense in the playoffs. They played defense in the playoffs. So I get what Greg is saying. You talking about an outstanding offensive unit and a team that can play defense when needed. And like I said, the champions was almost put out if Kevin Durant wore a size 16 instead of a size 17. They was gone. So we can't keep harping on the fact that I'm not saying Brooklyn scares me. Brooklyn doesn't scare me because at the end of the day, they don't have nobody to guard Joel. They don't have nobody that can stand in front of him. However, I do see what he's saying is if they get hot and they play a little bit of defense on our role players, like imagine Seth being locked down to only having 10, Danny Green having 6, and Big had 35 all night when Durant, Harden, and Kyrie going, and we still will lose that game. But it's all about the Sixers. But I do understand where Greg coming from.
Cyberdell. Well, Greg, I disagree. I disagree again because if you saying regular season doesn't matter, then Brooklyn and them should have been gelling when they got to the playoffs. They should have got to the playoffs. Minus Harden did get injured, but regular season does matter because that's where you got to build your chemistry at. You got to build your chemistry and stuff like that. Them guys, I forgot how many games those guys played all year.
It was only maybe like 11. I don't even think it might not even hit double digits for all 3 of them.
Yeah, like I don't think that at all. So it's like, it's just like regular season does matter to a certain degree, and we got to address this comment. Little sister said, "I was wondering why he denied my call."
She FaceTimed me like a minute ago. I had to hit the X on her.
Yeah, and Cyberdell said that Sixers get Bill, game or Bill would be the best inside out game in the league. I agree, because Bill's a willing passer. Bill will pass the ball. Bill can score. He can slash. Bill can do it all. I want Bill on his team. I'm not gonna hold you. I want Bill on his team.
Well, how do you feel about the comments he had a few weeks ago about us?
Good. And on the second notion, And on the second notion, somebody probably talked to him and was like, because in the second notion, he said, I will welcome a trade to Golden State, Philly, Miami. He said he picked Philly and Miami and Golden State as his three destinations he want to go to. He want to go to and stuff like that. So, yeah, so,
What I
yeah,
think he was,
yeah.
what I think he was thinking, because he was harsh on us, talking about some, yeah, they was talking dirty to my old lady, talking dirty to my kids and stuff. And I think he sat back and thought. He said, "Dawg, all it is they just loyal. If you not wearing that red, white, and blue, then we don't rock with you. But if you
And
wearing it, we rock with you." So I think he thought about that. Like, yeah, they supposed to treat me like that as the away player. They supposed to treat me like that.
because anybody that step up into an opposing building, you gotta get looked at like you the enemy. Like you the enemy when you step up into the opposing building. I'm not saying cross all lines and get all disrespectful and do what the Jazz did to Russell Westbrook. I'm not saying that. But you are in it. I'm not gonna sit up there, yo, Bill, what up, my man? Yo, Bill, let me
Yeah,
get a picture with Bill.
we not cut like that in Philly,
No,
dog. We not.
Bill. I got the Bill jersey under my shirt. No, you not doing that, bro. That's not what it's about in this city. You got to understand too, and this is a message to all athletes out there that, under the sound of my voice. If you ever decide to come play for the city of Philadelphia, you got to understand when you do well, we love you. When you do well, we love you. You will be a folk hero in this town. As Allen Iverson.
We adopted Allen Iverson. People don't even I don't want to say people, but the majority of the world doesn't even associate Allen Iverson with Virginia anymore.
Allen,
Everybody, he's a Philly guy now because he gave us everything he had. We adopted him.
We're adopting whatsoever. Nick Foles. Let me tell you the story about Nick Foles and stuff like that. The story of Nick Foles. Nick Foles, he was with the Eagles. And then Nick Foles, who get traded to the Rams. Jeff Fisher, horrible dude. Nick Foles. And when Nick Foles left the Eagles, people wasn't keen on Nick Foles like that. Nick Foles can't had his come up and he came back around to the city. Carson Wentz goes down, gets the Eagles halfway there to that threshold. Then coming when it came time for Nick Foles to step up in them playoff games, Nick Foles led the Eagles to a Super Bowl, and now Nick Foles can't go nowhere in this city. He probably get dinner for free every time he goes to the city.
Easy.
Yeah, the city loves a winner. If you should, and even let's not even use a person that won like Foles won the championship. Let's look at the Mike Vicks in the world. Let's look at the Mike Vicks in the world that came to the Eagles. After going. He signed with the Eagles after getting locked up for his dog fighting. Everybody wrote him off and thought he was done. People wasn't a fan of the signing, but it got to the point that he performed so well that the people that had some mumblings about his dog fighting, you didn't hear nothing from him. The city loved him. To the athletes out there, if you're going to play for this city, you gotta embrace the city with the good and the bad. Because if you don't embrace the city with the good and the bad, the city will mentally tap you out. The city will mentally put you in an ankle lock, and you'll be about ready to tap out. You gotta embrace that. Because I love this city. Because this city will tell me. I would want a city to tell me if I'm playing like doo-doo.
That's what I'm saying. There's no job. There's no job in this world that you'll ever have that you won't get scrutinized when you're doing bad. If you're doing good, we'll praise you, like Philly fans do. We'll praise you when you're doing good. When you're doing bad, we got to let you know you're doing bad. There's no job you will have in life that's not the case.
And
we may not be their boss, the person that should be doing, but we're gonna let you know this is unacceptable.
And let's separate a line. Basketball critiquing somebody is a different thing, but it's a line between basketball critiquing and doing what half of these other dudes do. And like, man, y'all clocking women. He don't. It's the all season. So, because if y'all want to be fair, we got to say the same thing about Embiid. Like, when is Embiid doing? We got to say the same thing. If he out there chilling with a woman this all season, we get it. He's supposed to be working out. All right, cool. But if you're going to do the same for one on this team, we got to do the same for the other that's on this team. We got to do the same for Tobias Harris. We got to do the same for Steph Curry. Because Steph Curry been playing golf. Steph Curry been playing golf, and Steph Curry need to pack some muscle on. He need to pack a little muscle on. And Steph Curry need to finish better at the rim. But we ain't sitting up there saying, damn, Steph, you playing golf. Oh, just because you did your thing in the playoffs, we going to let you off the hook. Nah, that's not how that works.
I agree.
That's not how that works. Everybody on this team has a ceiling to get better. And for y'all to just single out the kid because he's sitting up there with a lady at Wimbledon, that's a little excessive because this is the all season. So if we going by that single, like we going by that single logic, LeBron James lost in the first round in Phoenix. He shouldn't be out there doing Space Jam. He should be out there working. He should be out there working and stuff like that, getting ready to come back for year 19.
Yeah,
So if we're going,
it's unrealistic. Ben is the hot topic. He's the easiest person to poke right now, and that's why I won't even say that's why they do it. That's why we do it. I'm guilty of it at times. I'm down on Ben right now. I'm not gonna lie and act like, oh, he's my guy. I took my Ben Simmons jersey off after I think game 4, and I ain't put it on since. It makes me sick to know I even got the jersey. But guess what? As long as he's 6, I'm rocking with him. But like I said, he's the easy target right now because the last visible thing I can remember, everybody closed their eyes. The last thing I remember is this man saying Trae Young was coming. He was under the basket and he passed it. I just can't get past it yet. I got to see something else to get me past. My last thought of Ben Simmons was he was under the basket. Forget them free throws. I don't even care about the free throws no more. The last thing I can think of when I think of Ben Simmons is he saw Trae Young and got scared. I just can't get past that, man. I can't get past it. And that's why people are poking at him. Because the last thing we'll remember, what have you done for me lately? You know this is a what have you done for me lately league.
And that's why I'm gonna address what you say in a minute. Ben stunk out there, but we're not going to just say we're not going to just say that we're not going to put the whole blame on them dudes that sit their whole series. Ben was trash. Ben played like trash that series. But Embiid by itself, we had 16 turnovers. What game was that when we had like 16 turnovers? And
that was the closeout. Embiid had 8.
Embiid had 8. He had half of the Philadelphia 76ers turnovers. Half of the 16 turnovers, and Embiid had half of them.
Don't start typing, Greg, because I know you about to start typing. He's gonna say it's because Ben can't have the ball and Simmons because Embiid had to create everything. That's why he had so many turnovers. So don't start typing, Greg, because I know you about to start typing.
We're not going to use that excuse
because that's what he was going to use. I'm telling you,
we're not going to use that
right now.
We're not going to use that excuse because for one. Embiid got Embiid. This is one of our pet peeves with Embiid is passing out the double team, and Embiid struggles at passing out the double team and stuff like that. That's one of his main things. That's one of his main things. You said exactly what he's going to say.
I knew he was going to say.
You said exactly.
I knew it was coming.
You said that we're not going to happens when your 7'2" center got to be point guard and small forward. We're not going to use that as no excuse. Let's not stop making excuses. And B gotta learn. He gotta get this together. He gotta get this together. So truthfully, like he gotta get this together because passing out the double team is one thing that separates great players from the good players. You passing out the double team and stuff like that. You gotta be able to do it. And you got Seth in the corner. Greg, stop making excuses for Embiid. You got stop making excuses for Embiid. You got Seth in the corner. You got Danny in the corner. We seen it against the Hawks. My point is everybody on this team has a ceiling they got to get better at. Embiid, don't blame me either. Embiid was getting folded on the pick and roll. Half of that was his fault, and the other half was the guy that was getting beat on the pick and roll. Half of that, so he brings a 50% responsibility in getting cooked on the pick and roll. Of a guy who's getting beat off the pick and roll, bears that responsibility too. That's something he has to get better with. That's something he got to learn how to hedge the pick and roll. When the last time you seen Embiid hedge a pick and roll? You don't see Embiid hedge pick and rolls, even when Embiid didn't have a bum knee. So everybody on this team got a ceiling they got to get better. So Seth got to pack some muscle. Got to pack some muscle and finish better. Tobias got to finish. He got to create his own shot.
He's a starter. He's definitely a starter, but he ain't finished not one of them playoff games. Not one of them playoff games did he finish. He started. Oh, he started. He never finished.
He got to finish, man. Everybody got a ceiling they could get better to. And it's like, and the fact that these dudes, enjoying the off season, man. It's the off season. That you could be working in the off season, but if we're gonna single out one, we're gonna single out the other. Just because you think Jordan at the averaging 35 a season said, you know what, I'm content. No, I'm gonna get back in the gym and get better and score more. You think Kobe said, you know what, I'm content? You think I'm content? No, I'm not content. I gotta keep working. I gotta keep working. Who like the greats were never content with just being with just if the greats was content with just averaging 35 points a game, then the half of these players that's in the league now wouldn't be great. Because
Do you think it was a good idea? Oh, where you go? All right, I took over. Hey, this just became the BG podcast. Sabri has been kicked out. I guess the world did not like his takes. I asked who we got. We got two watching. Do y'all think it was a good idea that Ben sat out the Olympics and is doing his own thing, or do you think it would have been better to get some reps in the Olympics? I personally think it would have been better for him to get some reps in the Olympics because his off-season routine and working out with his brother is just not. It just hasn't worked for years. It hasn't worked for years. His brother is his shooting coach, but who has he ever trained to shoot? We got a guy that won't shoot, and we got a guy who's never trained anybody except for his brother teaching him how to shoot. So I think having him. My bad, I kicked you out. I wasn't feeling what you was talking about. I just put it out there. I don't know about that, Greg. So before you read what Greg just said, I asked the question. I said, do y'all think that it was good for Ben to sit out the Olympics and work on the things he need to work on, or do you think he would have gotten better experience going to the Olympics and getting that game time and be with a more free flowing offense and being it's a big stage, but it's no like repercussions for losing. So go out there and shoot.
he would have got the maximum amount of experience he would have been able to get. You see guys like Evan Fournier make statements that say, "Yo, individually, the United States is better, but as a group, we're better than them." Guys like Evan Fournier get into the Olympics and start cooking. So he could have played in the Olympics. He would have dominated the Olympics, and he would have said to himself, "Damn, if I could dominate these dudes, and half of these dudes can play in the NBA." And have his dudes play in the NBA now, let me go out to the NBA circuit and dominate it. Because this is what he needs to work on. He needs to work on his mental capacity, his mental, he needs to sit down. He needs to sit down and work on that his mental makeup each and every day. Because if he brings that mental makeup that Giannis has, because Giannis, one thing about Giannis Antetokounmpo, Giannis say, I don't give a damn if y'all talk about me. I don't give a damn if y'all count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Giannis doesn't care. Giannis is going to get you a bucket, a bucket, a bucket, a bucket. If he's going to keep going to the foul line and y'all going to keep counting down. So if you take Giannis's brain and put that into Ben Simmons, the Sixers will be a championship team. But the thing is, he doesn't have it, Sway.
He definitely doesn't. His mental is definitely not up to par. What like people think he not mentally ready enough to play in Philly. I think he not mentally ready to play in the damn league. Like if you don't shoot the ball, like how you don't shoot the ball. So wait, hey, real quick, while you was out, I brought up his brother.
Well,
do he gotta switch roles, do something else? You got a guy who you've never heard teach somebody how to shoot, teaching somebody who doesn't shoot how to shoot. How does that make sense? Like, wait, before you say it, Sabri, I'm gonna say that one more time. You have somebody who's never been known to teach somebody how to shoot, teaching a player who doesn't shoot how to shoot. How does that make sense?
What he need to do is take up Mohamed Abdul Rauf on his offer. We need a Chris Jackson, aka Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson was Steph Curry before Steph Curry was Steph Curry.
Reach out to guys like Tracy McGrady. Somebody his size.
It said Tracy McGrady, and Tracy McGrady was 6'9", said 6'9", 6'10", and people and I was a huge Tracy McGrady fan. And you're not gonna sit up there and lie to me and tell me that Tracy McGrady had the best stroke pause in the NBA. And nah, he didn't. Nah. McGrady was attacking that damn basket.
He was attacking the basket, but he still can get a bucket. You remember when he scored 13 points in 12 seconds to get the Spurs? Them was threes.
He shot the. I didn't say I didn't say he never. I didn't say he didn't have a jumper. I didn't never say that. I said it wasn't the best. McGrady go-to move was not. McGrady wasn't a shooter.
But the thing is, he was able to. Well, don't get me wrong. He came in the league as a slasher, but the reason he was able to get to the rack so easily is because he eventually developed that jump shot. Once you have to respect that jump shot, now I got to play you a little closer, and I'm way faster than you, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is way faster and way stronger than these guys. That if he get that left shoulder in front of a guy, you're not getting back in front of him. That's an easy like if he just starts to shoot, it will open up so much for him. So much for him. It's sad. Yeah, I agree, Greg. He got buckets. I don't know. Sabri maybe didn't watch Tracy, dog, because Tracy had a Jimmy, dog.
Yo, Orlando Magic Tracy McGrady was not a 3-point shooter. Orlando Magic Tracy McGrady was not a 3-point shooter. We not gonna do that.
You know I'm pulling it up.
I'm gonna pull it up at the same time.
You know I'm pulling it up. No, keep talking to the people about your mess. Keep telling them these lies while I pull it up. Keep telling them these lies. Tracy McGrady wasn't a shooter. What was he then?
So don't say it. Don't try to base it off 3-point percentage.
So what you want me to base it off?
Don't try to base it off his field goal percentage, because field goal percentage takes into account his 2-pointers too. All right, come on, man. Look at this. Come on, man. Look at his numbers in Orlando. Look at his field goal percentage. Look at his field goal percentage in Orlando.
He was a high volume shooter.
Oh, he was out there. So there you gonna say he shot 45% from the field. How many years he shot 45%?
He was a high volume shooter though.
Yeah, he shot 45%.
He was a high volume shooter.
He shot 45% for the McGrady game was slashing. I grew up on McGrady. McGrady was coming down the lane, dunking on you at will. You couldn't stop McGrady. I'm not saying McGrady didn't have a jump shot, but McGrady wasn't known for it. I didn't say once again, and so we could get that on the table. McGrady wasn't known for shooting, and Kobe wasn't known for shooting either. Let's not do that either, boy. Kobe shot 45%. Kobe wasn't a shooter.
Hold up,
Kobe attacked the basket at will.
Sabri, chill. Kobe wasn't a shooter.
Kobe was Mike 2.0. Kobe was Mike 2.0, and Mike. So you want to tell me Mike was known for shooting?
He wasn't known for shooting threes, but his mid range was automatic.
Both
of their both of their patent moves was a jump shot.
His go-to was the fadeaway.
The fadeaway.
The go-to fade around the midway. I said once again. My bad. I had to read a message. I got
you good. You good.
I had to read a message. They patented moves was the go-to fadeaway, but with push come to shove, what they came down the lane doing.
Listen to what you're saying. You're saying that their go-to move was the fadeaway, but they wasn't shooters.
They wasn't just because I pull up from three and just once or two times I hit a fadeaway three, that doesn't mean I'm a shooter.
They wasn't doing it one or two times. This was their go-to move.
So what you gonna say about Harden then? Harden go-to move sometimes is a step back jumper. So Harden was a shooter?
Harden's not a shooter?
Harden's a shooter. So what are you saying? I'm answering the question.
No, I'm asking you. Is Harden not a shooter?
Harden's more of a shooter than anything to me. Harden's a shooter more than a shooter than Kobe is to me.
He definitely is, because he shoots from three, but that doesn't take away the fact that Mike and Kobe were shooters just because they shot from mid-range. Is Chris Paul a shooter? He shoots from mid-range all game.
So you got to take into account the mid-range and the three. You got to take into account the mid-range and the three. So you going to say DeMar DeRozan's a shooter?
That's different.
No, BG.
He doesn't have a three at all.
No, BG.
Kobe and Mike could hit threes.
No, BG. You're not going to do that, BG. You're not going to do that. Kobe and Mike, I don't know the season where Mike start taking the three seriously. Don't quote me on the season. I think it was 91 to 92 when Mike started shooting the three seriously.
That was the year he went crazy in the finals against Portland.
And before then, Mike was not a 3-point shooter.
So because it was before then, that was he was only in the league. That wasn't in his prime years.
So your man gonna say DeRozan's a shooter. Wow.
Listen, but take into account what he's saying. Read the whole statement. Yes, DeMar is a shooter. He's a mid-range assassin. That's a fact.
So if you can only do one well, that still makes you a shooter?
Yes. Listen to my logic. Everybody's not a 3-point shooter. But just because they're not 3-pointers doesn't mean you're not a shooter. Perfect example. Rip Hamilton wasn't the best 3-point shooter, but mid-range he didn't miss.
Yeah, mid-range he didn't miss.
Sure.
What's a hell of a mid-range shooter?
That's what I'm saying. Is that type of guy. That's what DeMar DeRozan is. He's not a 3-point shooter, but inside the 3-point line, he don't miss.
You got to be able to do. In order to be a shooter, you got to be able to do it all. You got to.
I can't agree with that.
Yeah, you got to. You got to be able to do it all. You got to be able to do a wall. You got to.
So you saying that when it's all said and done, although we know his airness, Michael Jordan, as a dunker, you don't think people look at him as a shooter because he didn't shoot amazing from 3?
Yeah. Then now you're gonna bring beginning. Mike was streaky one time in his career. Mike was a slasher. He was streaky. Mike was streaky.
You still keep you have openly admitted that his go-to move was a jump shot. How can his go-to move be a jump shot, but he's not a shooter?
But if you go by the percentages, and where Mike shoot, it tells you everything. You tried to go to the percentages with T-Mac, and you just said T-Mac was a volume scorer. Well, that's why he only shot 45% from the 3. But how old are you, BG?
The same reason that Gilbert Arenas' field goal percentage is not great. He's a volume shooter, but he's going to make jumpers.
Now, Gilbert was a shooter. So Gilbert's a shooter. Gilbert will kill you anywhere on that floor.
But I bet you that if we look up Gilbert's stats percentages, they will be comparable to T-Mac because they're volume shooters.
But you knew what Gilbert can. I'm talking about Gilbert can score on anywhere on that floor, though.
And so can T-Mac.
T-Mac can score. Like T-Mac wasn't a hot 3-point shooter. We just looked it up. He wasn't. We just looked it up. T-Mac wasn't a hot 3-point shooter. And to be my definition of a shooter,
only 3-point shooters. Only 3-point shooters are shooters.
No, you trying to put words in. I said no, you trying to put the words in. I said 3-point shooters had shooters had the ability to shoot from anywhere on the floor.
Put Josh up. Danny Green is a good 3-point shooter, and I've probably seen him make about 10 mid-range shots his whole career. So is Danny Green not a shooter?
Yo, Danny Green is not a shooter to me because he can't hit the mid-range shot. He's not a shooter to me. You can't hit the mid-range shot.
Real quick. Everybody watching, I would like to make a public service announcement. The views of Sabri Latine are not the views of Eat Sleep Sixers or BG.
You and your man tried to just say DeMar DeRozan was a shooter.
I mean, he don't.
Yo.
Again, listen. What's the difference between DeMar DeRozan and Rip Hamilton?
Well, they both shoot them. They
both mid-range assassins.
They shoot the
mid-range is a jump shot. It's a jump shot.
So we going. Well, no, I'm talking about shooters. I was talking about I wasn't talking about scores.
Wait. Let's be clear, Josh. Who logic is nuts? I hope everybody agreeing with me right now. Can everybody? Hey, everybody that's in the 4 people that's watching right now, please tell me: am I tripping or is Sabri tripping? Just put it in the chat real quick. Am I tripping or is Sabri tripping? Please let me know.
Because if that's the case, a lot of mofos in the league right now some shooters. Then if that's the case, a lot of motherfuckers in the league shooters.
This is the thing. I think you're thinking that shooting is only the 3-point line. So here we go.
I never said that. I said shoot.
Is Chris Paul a shooter? Is Chris Paul a shooter?
CP could pop the 3 in the mid range. CP is a shooter.
That was a bad example because that helped you because he does hit threes too. I'm thinking of a guy that shoots mid range all game.
Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum. Like, yo, we can name people that can help my so y'all motherfuckers in there trying to say I'm tripping. I can name. Yo, yeah, what you mean? You talking about? Yo,
what you mean? What you mean, Timmy? Keep going, though, Sabri. But what you mean, Timmy?
So the what's the Morris brother name that plays for the Clippers?
Marcus.
Marcus. Marcus. Steph, CJ, Dame. It's a bunch of niggas I can name next to them.
Sabri, you're naming the best shooters in the league. Like, come on, man.
The best.
So if you wasn't in the 3-point contest, then you're not a shooter, basically.
You keep
trying you're naming all the players in the 3-point contest.
I never said that. I said that the ability to be able to hit both makes you a shooter. And those dudes I named are hell of a mid-range shooters and 3-point shooters.
So is Rip Hamilton a shooter? Yes.
That's not.
Answer my question.
I look at Rip as a person that can hit the midi. If you can't shoot that 3 well, then you're not a shooter. You can't shoot that. Kawhi's a shooter. Kawhi can actually hit the 3. Kawhi can actually hit the 3.
You telling me Rip Hamilton's not a shooter?
Rip Hamilton can hit that midi. So Timmy, I'm gonna get what you're saying, Timmy.
There's a difference between a shooter and a scorer. I get what you're saying, Timmy, but I don't get which part of that applies to what I'm saying. I was naming shooters, right? I wasn't naming just scorers.
So AI wasn't a great so he asked the question, AI wasn't a great 3-point shooter, so he ain't a shooter. So we're gonna say AI shooter? Because if we're gonna say AI shooter, then I'll quit the podcast.
Again.
So it was AI shooter. No, by your logic, was AI shooter. Because if you say, it was AI shooter. Because if you say AI shooter, I'll quit the podcast.
Again, AI was the same as what T-Mac and Gilbert Arenas are. They're volume shooters, so of course their percentages won't be good. But if AI is wide open, he's going to make the shot.
So AI was a shooter.
He was 5'11", shooting over dude 6'6", and still shot like 40%. It was a low percentage, but he was getting buckets. He's a guy that if you left open would make it. Yes.
Yeah. So see,
I don't like the AI. I don't like the AI one because AI was just a flat out scorer. Could he shoot? Yes.
I'm about to.
Would I classify him a shooter? I probably won't classify him a shooter. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I was about to quit. I was about to quit the podcast on that one. I was about to quit and it's a dip. I see what you're saying now, Timmy. It is a difference, Tiffany. It is a difference to me, and you just kind of helped my point even more, Timmy. It is a difference between a shooter. Ray Allen's a shooter, and then just being Timmy. It is a difference.
Timmy, was Rip Hamilton a shooter? Yes or no? Was Rip Hamilton a shooter? Yes or no?
Hey Josh, I love you, but to say AI was a shooter, man, you gonna give me a heart attack, bro. I love you, Josh. Some way. Like if I got that name right, but to say like, Lord have mercy, to say AI was a shooter?
How we get all the way back to the early 2000s? We started off talking about the draft. I like it though, man. This Sixers talk. So long as we still talk about basketball. In his era, yes, because 3-point line wasn't as valued. Exactly. Rip Hamilton was a shooter.
Was we talking about AI Rip? Because I just lost my train of thought.
He talking about Rip because I said, hey, Timmy, was Rip Hamilton a shooter? So I'm pretty sure he's saying yes in his era because the 3-point line wasn't as valued. So
Timmy, so let me ask you, Timmy, the Dames, the CJ McCullers, the Steph Currys in the world, what would you consider them?
They're assassins. They're snipers. There's difference. They're shooters. Listen, there's shooters and there's snipers.
Ronnie Rosati, thank you, dog. They was about to have me quit the damn podcast.
I admitted that. Sabrina, did I not admit that?
No, I'm talking about. I was getting just jumped just now, yo. Not by you. Not by you. I admitted that. I didn't say you jumped me. I was getting jumped in the comments just now. I was getting jumped like I was saying something so asinine, like.
You were saying something asinine when you said T-Mac. You started getting jumped when you said Kobe and Mike.
They were scorers, dog.
They were scorers.
You tried to bring up the fact that they hit that fadeaway midi. No, dog, they had a lot of go-to moves. Kobe had that pretty ass reverse dunk he would do on people. Jordan had the little layup. That's why 2K invented the layup package for Jordan.
Did you know that Dan? I'm older than you, Sabri. Did you know that Dan Marley got the name Thunder Dan because he dunked on people? But we think of Dan Marley and think of a shooter. So what? He dunked every once in a while. Like, what are you talking about?
I did my research on Thunder Dan. You want to try to show your age?
I wasn't calling you. I was just saying I was there. I was there.
I lived the era. I lived it. You ain't gonna sit up there and tell me. That's how I am too. That's how I am too.
I love
it. You ain't gonna tell me nothing about T-Mac. I had the posters. I was sitting with the posters in my no, man. No, but you said I'm tripping, but you was the main one that just said, "Hey, I was a shooter, bro." Come on.
No, that was Josh that said, "Hey, I was."
No, he agreed with him too. I got the comments right. He agreed with him too, but I'm tripping though. Like everybody that don't agree with me, I still love y'all though. I love y'all. But people like AI. It's like people like AI and the other ones I named, they weren't shooters, they were just straight out scorers. Three level scores. Yeah, I like that definition right there. Tell me
he answered that for the snipe when you asked, so what is Dame, Seth, Steph, Clay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Three level scores.
To me, those are snipers. Harris. Not playoff Joe Harris, but Joe Harris is the Steph Currys, the Clay. Those are Dame. Those are snipers. Wait, here we go. He's not on the shooting level of Steph Curry. Is Bradley Beal a shooter?
Bradley Beal's a scorer, yo.
Did you watch him in Florida? Like he was literally, that's all he did was shoot jumpers in Florida.
But now you going to try to overlook the Wizards days now?
Look, you tried to go back. You said in 1990, Mike wasn't making jumpers. He started making jumpers in 90. So I'm going back in the day too.
You can go back in the day. Yo, you could go back in the day. No, ain't no exceptions to that. Ain't no exceptions to that. No, you could go back in the day. If I use that back in the day example and stuff like that. So Bill ain't he a shooter and he ain't a scorer, Greg?
Bill is a scorer, but
that's a tough one. Go ahead. That's
his main way of getting buckets. He get a lot of jumpers. Like he shoots a lot of jumpers. He does slash also, but let's just think about when you see Bradley Beal get a bucket, it's usually a jump shot. Yes, he is just a flat out scorer, but he's a jump shooter too. At the end of the day,
Ronnie Rosati, that's a tough. Now Steph Curry's a tough one. She's a tough one. Curry. Curry. He made his mark shooting, so yeah. Curry's a straight up shooter.
Yeah, you have to give him the label shooter because he changed basketball.
Yeah, you got to give him.
He got kids playing AAU shooting from half court because of him.
Yeah, but the harder situations, the harder cases like Bill, like the McGrady's, like the Iversons, like the Iversons and stuff like that. A more person I look at as a shooter for real. I look at the Dirk Nowinskis of the world. Dirk is one of the best European big man shooters of all times.
Well, I mean, he was a shooter because he couldn't jump over a phone book, so he had no choice but to shoot jumpers.
Dirk still was the best at it, no matter if he couldn't jump or not.
To this day, Dirk is still the best European ever. When it's all said and done, Luka will take that crown, in my opinion. But yeah, Dirk is the best person we've ever seen from over the water, by far, hands down. There's no questions right now.
Yeah, and who else? Well, what's the dude that died in a car accident? In a plane. I think it's playing the car. Drazen Petrovic.
Drazen Petrovic. Oh, you ain't old enough for that, boy. Don't act like you know about Drazen.
Drazen. Straight up shooter. Straight up lethal knockdown. Straight up knockdown shooter. The Drazen Petrovic, Dirk Nowinski. Who else can we name? Ginobili. Shooters. Like, even though Ginobili had a little silk in his game, had a little silk in his game. He was a little smooth.
He was a slasher too. He was a slasher.
He was a little smooth. He was a little smooth and stuff like that.
He was definitely what Timmy was talking about. He was a 3-level scorer. He can get you mid range. He can hit a 3, and he get to the bucket.
Yeah. So like, no, this is straight up. This was I liked it. I like this. We were supposed to.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Sabri. Well, I'm gonna be honest with the fans because this page, this is the Eat Sleep Sixers podcast, and this is Sixers 20, and it's posted on Sixers 24/7 every time. We do apologize that we got off topic, but this was my favorite. This was my favorite pod we had so far.
Yeah,
it's good conversation. Good basketball conversation.
No, and we're gonna embrace. No, we're gonna embrace all fun. Just because we're a Sixers podcast, but we're gonna incorporate all elements of basketball into this thing. You ain't gonna catch us praising the Bucks. We ain't gonna catch us praising the Bucks. Goddamn it, in the Brooklyn Nets.
And we're not gonna let Greg keep bringing up Brooklyn.
Yeah, we're not gonna let Greg keep bringing up Brooklyn.
I will report you, Greg, and we will put you back in Facebook jail on your second account for keep on bringing up Brooklyn in this group.
And Ronnie Rosari, he hits 30-footers, but if you ever seen Curry main component of his game is shooting. But you ever seen Curry? You ever seen Curry play? Curry can cook you, can pull up, can attack the basket. Kyle Korver, that's a good one.
Ooh, Kyle Korver. Oof. I missed that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love this Sixers team, but I missed that Sixers team when it was AI and when Kyle Korver was still there. Andre Iguodala. Oh, I love that Sixers team. I wish we would start. I want us to wear the black jerseys so bad this year, dog. Those year black jerseys, not our new Philadelphia black jerseys. Them jerseys, man. I don't know, man. I love that team, man.
So, man, and Kyle Korver was definitely streaky. He was streaky with the Sixers, but Atlanta, you had to take that streaky tag off. Atlanta, he was just a straight out bucket.
Thought he made the All-Star team.
Yeah, he was a straight out bucket in Atlanta.
He made the All-Star team.
There was the second core of players.
4 players.
The second time where 4 players made the All-Star game in one season.
Yep, Jeff Teague, Al Horford, Paul Millsap, and
Kyle Korver.
Yeah, Joe wasn't there during those years, but those 4 players all made the All-Star team. But they had the best record in the East.
They made it the same year because I remember they made it one. The ISO Joe, Al Horford, and what's the name? Because Kyle Korver was a throw-in. Like Kyle Korver he made the All-Star game because somebody got hurt, if I'm not recall.
Yeah, he wasn't voted in. He was the throw-in because somebody was hurt.
Yeah, somebody was hurt. ISO Joe, Al Horford, Paul Millsap, and you mentioned Teague. It was like almost the whole damn starting 5 made the All-Star game. So yeah. So Kyle Korver was streaky with us, but he came through and balled. So the shooter definition term, the shooter, that's a fun debate because like if we name some players right now, we could say Chris Middleton. We could say a bunch of dudes. We could say Chris Middleton. Now he's a shooter. Chris Middleton is a shooter. We're not going to have no debate about that. And can we say Drew Holiday is a shooter? All them dudes. I'm just naming a few players. No,
I would go no for Drew Holiday.
No,
can he shoot? Yes. Is he a shooter? I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, the debate was fun. So. More like transitioning to the draft.
Transitioning back to an hour ago when we started talking about this.
Start talking about this. So transitioning. So I don't see no traction with the 28th pick because like maybe they moved the 28th pick to get somebody like a Terrence Ross or package it with Tobias or something like that. But I don't see no traction really kicking off with that pick. So it's like trade the pick, move on.
It'll be a throw-in. It'll be a throw-in in somebody's trade in a trade. I don't see we can't. There's nobody we can get at 28 that I don't even want to say move the needle. There's nobody that we picked at 28 that I would even replace anybody outside of Mike Scott and Furkan on his team. Like everybody, well, obviously the George Hills of the world, but nobody that I would draft at 28 that will replace anybody on the current roster. As much as I hate our bench.
Yeah, and it's like. And like, what do you do in that scenario? Like, because the Sixers don't got a lot of capital either. Because going into next year, the Sixers going to be competitive next year. So their next first round pick ain't gonna be all that good either. Next couple 3 picks ain't gonna be that good. So they don't got a lot of collateral to play with in the cap space. They in salary cap hell unless they move some contracts around. Unless they move some contracts around. So the Sixers don't got a lot of capital to play with.
We got 3 max players, man. We got 3 max players currently on the roster. It's hard to add anything to that without getting rid of one of them. And like that's where we started off. Is either going to be Tobias or Ben. I wouldn't be surprised at either one of them moving. But like I said, when you wearing that Sixers jersey, I'm rocking with you. The second you take it off, you know what? Look, on to the next one. I'm about my team, man.
But I'm in the same way too, man. But we got to be smart in the process and stuff like that. We gotta be smart when it comes down to this whole thing, man. Because we're in a win now window, and the window by the time Embiid's third, we got a 2 to 3 year window to maximize anything we got for Embiid. Cause excuse Embiid hits his 30s, that window is shut. So that window is shut and stuff like that. So that's the little sis calling you back.
You can hear it coming.
Like, but Pillow sis, we don't want you to act like Pillow sis on. Tell her she on eat sleep 6.
That wasn't her that time. It was a no call ID. You know I ain't answering no call ID.
No, yeah, like I'm about to say, we don't want little sis to be angry.
Nah.
Yeah. So we gotta maximize everything we could possibly get.
Yeah.
And I want to get to the next segment because I want to do this more. I'm gonna throw the link in the chat. If you want to come on and ask some questions, to us and get our opinions on stuff, because I love and for us to be what we're doing right now. Shout out to them 5 people that's been watching us consistently and getting entertainment on us. Shout out to them,
especially the Ronnies of the world. Ronnie been on here the whole time. Comment. Obviously, Greg, Timmy was on here. Who else we got? John was on here. So we had some people that was talking almost the whole time. We definitely appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go to YouTube and subscribe.
And subscribe over there to us. And and this is what it's all about. You have about 3 years. So I said we got a 3-year window. Yeah, I did say we got a 3-year window. So who can we get for Ben right now? You got to say Dame Lillard. We got to say Dame Lillard or Bradley Beal to maximize that 3-year window.
I don't think he wants to know who do we want. Who do you feel we can get?
Who do, if you feel we can't? If this the thing with Bill, if you could send Bill, because me and Brent, we up to 8 now. Me and Brandon had to talk about this. Me and Brandon discussed this. Shout out to Brandon for bringing this to my attention. Matisse did 4 years of college. He was 22 when he came into the league.
Mm-hmm.
And typically those players like that those 4-year stints. And Matisse is so known defensively. What is Matisse ceiling to grow offensively at 22 years old?
Well, I personally think I think he still has I don't want to say an outrageous ceiling, not all-star level ceiling, but I still think he has room to a nice ceiling only because he's so polished on defense right now. That's all he has to work on is offense.
As opposed to Maxey.
Oh, Maxey's ceiling is oof. I love that.
There you go. So
I just got a new dog the other day, man. I bought a dog and I wanted to name him Maxey dog.
See, there you go. There you go. If I'm making a trade, I'm adding Ben. I'm adding Matisse. I'm adding some first round picks. I'm giving up some first round picks, and I'm asking Brooklyn to either throw in Bill. They're not gonna part ways with Hachimura. Hachimura is a beast.
Not happening.
They're not parting ways with Hachimura. If they could give us back, I'm trying to think. If we could make the salary work somehow and get back Bertrand.
Bertans? Yeah, I was about to say Bertans. I think you were talking about him.
Yeah, and Bertans, then I would take that deal because you get a sharpshooter. You get a sharpshooter, you can move to the bench, and you get Bill back in the situation, and you get Bill back, and you got the free agency market. And I talked to Kai, me and Kai disagreed that he was like, Derrick Rose gonna want to come back to New York or Chicago. I said, he might love them, but if you give Derrick Rose an opportunity to say, you know what, we got a chance at a championship, I think D Rose is signed with somebody that's going to get him a championship. Because D Rose, and let's keep it all the way a buck. D Rose is the story of it's just the story you want to get a championship. You want
Yeah,
D Rose.
he's the second. He's third. He's third. He's right behind Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Dennis Derrick Rose, who everybody would like to see get a championship.
Why I literally shedded a tear when he dropped 50.
Mm. And you know that meant so much to him. I ain't never seen a grown man cry in a regular season game. Why? That's how much that 50 meant to him, because people counted him out. People counted him out.
As a basketball fan, you might not cry, but as a basketball fan, if you didn't feel some type of way that Derrick Rose scored 50, you're like, man,
It gave you goosebumps, man.
you not a fan. You're not a fan of the game. See, first and foremost, before I came a Sixers fan, I had to learn the game first. You can't. Anybody that tell you they came straight out the womb, except for my big bro Joey. Joey, rest in peace, Joey. Joey might have came out the room a Sixers fan. He might have came. His first word might have been Sixers. Yeah. So yeah, with the exception of Joey D, if anybody tell you that they came out the room like in one team, then they might be lying to you. With the exception of Joey, because when I came out the womb, I had to learn the game first. And then when I seen what was around me, and when I seen my brothers, boom, I said, oh, my brothers like the Sixers. Family like the Sixers. Oh, okay, I'm going to be a Sixers fan. And then it clicked in into me 2001. And that's when it finally clicked in, like, oh, this is what I'm going to want to be. So to see Derrick Rose drop that 50 piece and then give you goosebumps and say, damn. Because I ain't ashamed to admit it. To the 4 people out here, I cried like a baby when Derrick Rose got that 50. And he got up there. He was like, yo, how much does this really mean to you? He's like, I worked my ass off, man.
And it gave you goosebumps, man.
It's like I worked and it was like, yo, he tore his ACL, tore his meniscus. No, was it a meniscus or his Achilles? And one of those.
I think his was Achilles.
He tore his Achilles. He tore his ACL. Yo, those 2 type of injuries he should have been done. Then he came over to New York. Put up 17, 18 points a game. People thought he was done. Oh, damn. Oh, he put up 17, 18 points with New York. Oh, people thought he was done. Then he went up to the T-Woods, showed he wasn't done. Then came back again to the Knicks and put up 14 or 15 points a game. That means that much. And to get him in an opportunity where you could say, Derrick Rose, you could be a winner, my guy.
Come compete for a championship, not just numbers.
Just come compete for a championship, my guy. And we'll pay you the mid-level exception. To come compete for a championship. To have Derrick Rose, that would be the perfect storm. That'd be a guy that you could bring off the bench or actually start. That'd be a perfect storm for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm all for I think Derrick Rose, you present Derrick Rose with the opportunity to win. I think Derrick Rose is going to want to win, man. Derrick Rose is a killer. No matter if he can't dunk or not, Derrick Rose is going to kill you. Derrick Rose is going to leave his heart on there. He's going to leave his heart on that court. He reminds me of Allen Iverson as far as that aspect of his game. Like, for somebody that's going to just leave everything.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that's just going to leave everything on the court. Just mean when I say everything, they're going to die on the.
He's one of those guys. Like, so I hate to put Ben in this, but Ben's one of those guys that he grew up. His dad played basketball, and he was tall, and everything was kind of given to him. Derrick Rose knew that without basketball, he probably was nothing. He grew up in Chicago, dog. He grew up Chicago. Chicago is the only place to me. Chicago, East St. Louis is the only thing comparable to how we know Philly is. He grew up with nothing. So he knows that without basketball, he probably has nothing. So of course I'm going to give it everything I got because it's giving me everything that I have.
You ever seen the 30 for 30 when that young kid, the young tall kid got killed? He was from Chicago. He was from Chicago. What is his name? Let me go look him up real fast. The kid that got killed. Excuse me, y'all. If somebody could tell me who the kid that got killed out of Chicago, they did a 30 for 31. Let me know.
I was about to say you left that comment a little too slow when you said the kid that got killed in Chicago.
Yeah,
that list too long. But if you said they did it 30 for 30 on him, let's get a little bit shorter. D Rose is 33.
Benji, okay.
Hey, real quick, Sabri. Derrick Rose is 33.
No, I'm about to look him up right now.
No, don't worry about it. Hey Siri, how old is Derrick Rose?
Derrick Rose is 32.
Man, that was almost a good guess.
No, the kid. All right, I brought it back up. The kid name was Benji, and the kid out of Simeon High School. Ben Wilson was a 17-year-old prospect from basketball that was gunned down just before his senior year in 1984. His death sent ripples throughout the city and the nation. Ben Wilson, so just to go back to your point, was the evolution of Chicago basketball. Derrick Rose went to the same school in the same school that Ben Wilson got gunned down at. That's how you know that he doesn't Jabari Parker, and that too. That's how you know these dudes are not taking nothing for granted.
Yeah, because they know where they could be. They've seen too many people go down that road, so they know it could have been them. And basketball gave them a way out. So why would I cheat the game that gave me everything I had? Yeah. Everything that I have right now to this day is because of basketball. I will never cheat that game. And that's what I feel about Derrick Rose. He give it everything he got because it gave him everything he has.
And I encourage people to go watch that documentary so they can understand the life of Chicago basketball. Because Chicago basketball, you got to get it through the mud. You got to get it through the mud. Chicago basketball not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart. Because if you're not rocking with Chicago basketball, then that's on you. Because Chicago basketball, them dudes are fighting even now. They are fighting to survive every day. And D Rose brings that hungry attitude that you need on the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm campaigning for D Rose to get on the 76ers. I am campaigning. That is my number one move. If you give D Rose, that will make me happy in this offseason. If you give D Rose that mid-level assessment, because D Rose is needed. For real, he's needed. He's needed and stuff like that. If we could go out and get D Rose.
What do you think that would halt? Do you think that would halt any of Maxi's growth?
That wouldn't
obviously, real quick, obviously having Derrick Rose on the same team as him, he got a good mentor. But I think in your eyes, you want Derrick Rose to have a nice role on his team. With him having that nice role, do you think that halts any of Maxi's growth?
Hold on, I'm gonna answer your question right now.
Because that's all I worry about in getting Derrick Rose. If we get Derrick Rose, we've talked about this all season. We love that kid. Well, not all season. We talked about it the whole back end of the season and playoffs. How much we love Maxi. How much we wish Maxi could be our next point guard.
Maxi is 20. Maxi is 20 years old. Derrick Rose is 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And Maxi haven't even touched the stratosphere yet. So by the time Maxi touches his stratosphere, D Rose will be on his way. D Rose will be on his way, trajecting out the door. If anything, it'll help Maxi. If anything, if Maxi shoots up so much to the point that we can't ignore it, I'm pretty sure D Rose will be like, "Yo, I'll go right to the bench," because we seen D Rose do it. We're seeing D Rose.
I feel you. I just wanted to throw that out there because I look at what we want Maxi to be, and I don't want him to be hindered by saying, "Damn, I thought I was next," and then they brought an older guy. And granted, I do feel like having him as a mentor is perfect. It would be perfect for Maxi. He's a slashing guard just like Maxi is. He gets the bucket just like Maxi. So it'll be the perfect situation. But I just don't want to stunt Maxi's growth.
And this thing about it is when D Rose lost his athleticism, he reinvented this game. We have reinvented this game too, and that's something Maxi can learn from too. Is the reinvention of yourself. Is reinventing yourself. Because D Rose towards ACL, he lost his ability to jump up and leap and all that, his athleticism. And then when he tore his Achilles, it put a damper on that even more. It put a damper on. So you say, you know what? I ain't gonna cry about it. I ain't gonna say, well, I'm gonna be out the league and all that other stuff. You know what he did? He said, you know what? I'm gonna pick up, that I will pick up and shoot that ball. And D Rose was at one point in time when he was in New York shooting 37 to 38% from the three.
And My bad. I was going to say, Ronnie, I definitely agree with you. Throw his last comment up. I definitely agree with your last comment. I just wanted to play devil's advocate. I think having D Rose with Maxey would be great, but I just had to throw out the what ifs. To throw out the what ifs on that situation. But I definitely think it's more chance that he helps Maxey's career than hurts it.
Because we're not talking about somebody like a Reggie Jackson. I think if you go out and, and try to get a Reggie Jackson on the squad,
Then that could look away for Maxey. Yeah,
that look away on the squad because Reggie Jackson believes he can start, play at a high level. He believes he could be the starting point guard of the future for a team.
Mhm.
But no, but there we're talking about D Rose here. D Rose probably one of the most unselfish players in all of the land in basketball. That would be an excellent look for develop Maxey. And you know what, Derrick Rose say, "Oh, Maxey about to get the start. All right, let me step to the side. Maxey, go ahead, do your thing." That's why I love Derrick Rose. Man, not to keep tooting the Derrick Rose horn, and this is my last point of Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, he abides everything you need in the NBA. Derrick Rose, unselfishness, hard worker, never give up. So one thing about it, if one thing ain't working on his game, he's going to adapt this game. That's what you need. That's what you need on this team and stuff like that.
Sounds like the perfect guy for this city called Philadelphia.
It's the perfect guy because
sounds like the perfect situation for the city, Philadelphia.
Everything he been through in life, he could have gave up. Just like if he comes to the city, this city going. He from Chicago. He from Chicago. He comes to the city. This stuff gonna bounce off him like glue.
Yeah.
So that's one of my other scenarios that I think is possible if they bring it to D Rose the right way. I think it's possible to get it done.
For sure.
Because this all season right here, this all season is big. But this all season ain't the biggest all season around. The bigger all season is 2022.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for real. Fair use.
Hold up. What was just posted? Son?
Ben Simmons trade talks are they're going to be a storyline through this draft tomorrow night, and the Sixers have been canvassing around the league, and they are asking for a massive
fair use. Videos intended for educational purposes only.
Described it to me as similar to what Houston wanted in the talks that led to them trading to Brooklyn. But Ben Simmons, his agent, Rich Paul with Clutch Sports, they're in step with the Sixers on this and trying to find a new home. Remember, he's got 4 years left on his contract. There is not necessarily an urgency that they have to move him by tomorrow night, but typically big trades are made easier around draft time when you have picks as part of trade packages. But this is a trade conversation that could extend. Yeah, Ben Simmons.
Could you hear it good?
I heard it good.
Okay, just making sure. I couldn't tell how I was coming in. Yeah, Woj just tweeted. Well, Woj was on ESPN, and he just said it, and then right after he said it, he tweeted it. So
fair use, y'all. That video was intended for educational purposes only.
Educational purposes only. We have no attachment with ESPN.
Yeah, fair use, y'all. Yeah, everybody, and that goes for a lot of content creators out there. You gotta hit your get in touch with your fair use, learn fair use. And every time you about to play a video from somebody else, fair use. The video was intended for educational purposes only because they can't say you're trying to monetize that video and try to make money off their video. So you got to do it like that. So the draft is going to be interesting and stuff like that. We're just talking it over with everybody. Also, till we get into the 1 minute and 26 mark, it's going on 8:30.
Yeah,
we're just talking it over with everybody. Live, like if you want to tune in with us and watch the draft live, thanks to BG for the idea. BG threw the idea on tomorrow. What time does the draft start? Around 9 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was 8:30. Keep talking.
Yeah. Whatever time. Once again, shout out to BG for the idea. Whatever time the draft starts, our loyal listeners come through. Watch the draft with us. We won't watch the first round together because the second round nobody don't really care about. I'm joking. The second round is where they produce Draymond, where they produce Isaiah Thomas. There's a lot of good second round picks. But come through, sit there and watch the draft with us. Come chill with us and stuff like that. We had some trivia and stuff like that. And we had some trivia going on and stuff like that. And we are even you never know. We might throw some giveaways in there and say, put your cash app up there, ask you a trivia question, and say, put your cash up there. We'll send somebody $10, cash app $10, and stuff like that. You never know what we might have in store. So we're going to throw some trivia at y'all. And when we say throw your cash app up, if you don't throw your cash app up, you're going to be out of luck, because that's the one thing we're doing new.
Can't win if you don't play.
Can't win if you don't play and stuff like that. And we're gonna make sure we're gonna give you a time limit too. And the time limit gonna be whoever throws the answer up first in the chat. We ain't waiting 5 minutes. Whoever gets the answer first gonna get it, because we know there's a lot of Google heads out there and stuff like that. So whoever picks that answer up first, we're gonna give you like 60 seconds. Whoever gets that answer, boom, that's it. Matter of fact, we might even cut it down, because depending on y'all internet, y'all move a little quick. Y'all might beat that 60 seconds. Depending on y'all internet, y'all might have that hyper speed galactic prime source internet. So we might have to cut it down to like 45 to 30 seconds to get that answer. So we're gonna do that tomorrow. And yo, shout out to everybody that was tuning in. Ronnie, Galactic Dell, Greg as usual, Josh Shumway, Timmy Snyder. Appreciate everybody that's always turning into us, man. Like this was a fun podcast. This was one of the most fun I had podcasts I had in a long time.
For sure.
People was engaged. People had fun. What I need y'all to do, one of the most important things to do, hit the subscribe button. Like, share, subscribe. Get the message all the way out. Keep doing that all the way through.
Sleep Sixers.
It'll take 1 minute of your time to do that for it. 1 minute.
Sleep Sixers. If you love this logo right here, follow us, man. Follow us. We here for the community. Yeah. Shout out the team too. Shout out the team too.
Oh, we ain't gonna never stop, because when you see the bio, one thing about the bio, when you see it, when you see, and we gotta add BG to the Instagram bio. I'm gonna do that tonight. When you see the team, shout out. You got Brandon, you got Holes, you got Melissa, and you got BG, the newest member on their team. And BG keeping us on our toes and stuff like that, especially with an episode like this tonight. So
don't forget. Wait, you forgot my boy Carl. Come on, man.
No.
You said Brandon. You said Jose. You said MJ.
You said
Carl. If you watching, Carl, if you watching.
You didn't let me hit him with the last but not least. I had it set up. Then you messed my set. Carl, this was my setup. My punchline was the setup. He meant like the mark of a good comedian and a good entertainer is hitting them with the closing punchline. So let me start that over before I was so rudely interrupted for my punchline. You got Carl. Man, in fact, let me take Carl's name out of it. No, for a second. We got MJ, we got Holes, we got Brandon, and shout out to our big homie, the all-seeing nine. It's like, no, he ain't the all-seeing nine, but he the big homie Nikki. Shout out to Nikki. And last but not least, we got my boy Carl Sampson. And with that being said, this is how I wanted to do it, BG. This has been another edition of Eat Sleep Sixers. I am Sabrina Tane. Thank you for tuning in. This is my man BG. And guess what, y'all? It's a wrap.